Hi everybody, my name is Darren Prince. I'm from BulletButton.com. I invented the Bullet Button and the Patriot Magazine release. Here today I'm going to tell you how to install a Patriot Magazine release, the newest rendition with the epoxy. And because we have the definition from DOJ as far as what is and is not illegal, and that's been put in, I can tell you now about a couple of hacks in our system that I think you're really going to like. So if we open up our PMR packaging, this is what we're going to have. You're going to start by taking the Allen wrench included. There's a small button head 440 screw and a washer. Just put those together. And you're going to screw that in to the upper face of the Patriot Magazine release so that it sits like that. That's actually going to be your starting point. We're going to set that aside. This rifle is set up in .22 long rifle right now, so it's a compliant rifle to do this demonstration on. We're going to put the mag catch in. There should be one in there already. If you removed a Bullet Button or a previous PMR or any of the other systems out there, that mag catch should be the stock one. If not, you'll need to obtain that, but most rifles come with them. We supply this spring. You're going to go ahead and put that one in there. With the rifle closed, you're going to go ahead and just push the PMR in there, and you're going to put the castle nut in with the castle up. Okay, so we're going to drop the castle in there up. We supply the Wonder Wrench here, which will allow you to turn and install that. And you're going to do that until you have a slight bit of resistance in the rifle. Okay, and we're going to stop, I think, right about there. The beauty of the Patriot Magazine release system is that it is infinitely adjustable to different magazines and or rifles. So we get a lot of guns we can make compliant. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a magazine, we're going to pop it in the gun so we can't push it out, and we're going to do our testing with the Wonder Wrench in place. This is very important, right? You need to make sure that that Wonder Wrench is in place. If you test it without it, you're going to get either false positives or false negatives. So make sure your PMR looks like this when you're doing the testing. I'm going to push that super hard, and that magazine will not pop out of the rifle. I'm going to open that, and it will. So now I know this is set correctly. And we're going to go on to the next step, which is really the final step, the epoxy. So what we're going to do here, this is a burst pouch. So if you want to do this, it's kind of cool. You just sit there and you burst that in there. Then you take it on the edge of a table. You roll it all into one side and do the reverse. You can do that a bunch of times. You can roll it. I do suggest mixing it really well because you want the color right. The color will be important in a second. You'll understand why. So we're going to do lots of mixing in that epoxy just for fun. The more you mix, the faster it'll go, but we got time. So I believe it's a 5-minute epoxy. I think it takes a little bit longer than that to set off. So if you have scissors, great. If you don't, just take something that you don't mind cutting. So here you have a piece of scrap wood. I'm going to take that, I'm going to cut that edge off with a knife, or like a set of scissors will do it. Pop off that edge. You're going to keep this rifle as level as possible, but it's not super critical. And then I'm going to simply fill that pocket with epoxy. Now I'm going to overfill, and I'm going to do that on purpose. Just because you can always add more, but let's say you put in too much. What you're looking for is the slightest dome, but I'm going to go way too full on a dome. So instead of getting all upset, I'm just going to take the Allen wrench that I supply. I'm going to dip it right in there, and I'm going to pull a little bit of epoxy out so that it's perfectly level like that. And that's how, if you overfill, you can correct your issue. Now we're going to hurry up and wait for about 5 minutes. So while you're waiting, you're probably thinking, how do I know when I've waited long enough? So we're still going to wait a little bit longer, but you have this epoxy pack that has a bunch of epoxy left in it. If you squeeze that edge and you can still force epoxy out, you can check its tackiness right there. So clearly I can tell you here after 3 minutes, we're not quite ready. We're going to wait a little bit longer. Okay, here we are at about 5 minutes. So I'm going to squeeze that packet a little bit. You see it comes out pretty firm, but when I touch it, nothing comes with me. So I don't know if you've seen in the side here, but there's been this magic eraser. You're probably wondering what it's for. So I got this bright shiny button on the side of this PMR, and I don't like it. So I'm going to sit there and take the magic eraser, and I'm just going to touch that a couple times, and it will make the surface of that match the aluminum. So we're going to just wipe that off a little bit. hit it with that magic eraser, and you see that it just kind of disappears and blends in with the rest of the product. So there you go. There's your installation. Now, I told you I'd give you a couple of hacks. Each PMR now comes with a piece of 550 paracord. Comes with the same takedown pin that we've always had. But if you tie a slip knot on this side and measure out what you want to do, you can pop this guy in there, slip this over the forward assist, simply pull that tight. Gives you a great place to pull that cord and let you drop your mag without letting that gun go as much as you want. Now, you can set this tighter if you don't want the gun to open very much. I will tell you that the Patriot magazine release, every single version we make for every single gun, is designed so that the gun will not fire when it's in its open position. So these guns with our system will not fire when they're disassembled. Okay? So people ask about the epoxy. We epoxy that in there so that you cannot remove this system from the gun without destroying something. So you need to use tools that are going to destroy a part to take it out so that it's permanent. So that's the way we have decided to comply with California law, which is written to say that the magazine cannot be removed from the gun with the use of tools without disassembly of the action. So we accomplish that 100%. A cool thing that we do, and I told you I'd give you a hack in this video, is if you take off that slip knot and open this, you will see that we started with a small button head screw and a wrench. So if I take this, I have enough forward and backward play to push that back behind the bolt catch. I simply take this button out, and again, this gun is currently set up as a 22 conversion, so we can do this. There's my washer and my small screw. Now when I close this gun, I can eject the magazine so that if I'm in Texas or Nevada or Arizona and I don't want to feel funny, I have full function like a regular gun. Again, you cannot do that in California if you are set up center fire. If you have a lower that you want to swap from 22 to center fire, this is the kit for you. You cannot remove the kit with a tool, but you can easily turn it off when you're running your 22 upper, or if you go out of state to shoot like a front sight, this is the kit for you, because you can immediately feel like a normal human being in another state. So to reverse that, of course, we will simply take our washer, put it back onto our screw. We're going to set that back in there, and it goes back in just as easily as it came out. The washer sets your depth. You don't have to worry about over tightening or not tightening. This screw cannot back out while the gun is firing because it's pressed up against the receiver. We're going to slip this guy back on here. And now we're back in California compliant mode, where I push the button, the gun won't drop the magazine, open the rifle, and the gun will drop the magazine. Okay, there you go. Now you know a lot more about the PMR than you did when you started. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.